Good morning, everyone. It is Monday morning and an update on the aquarium. So, I had mentioned last week, after not being home for about a week and a half, so these aquariums, were setting them up to be self-sufficient. In the week and a half, no one died, but the week and a half when I was gone, it gave ick a chance to spread through here. So, I always mention when you get new aquarium pets, isolate them for a couple of weeks, or even as a preventative measure, medicate them when you get them, just in case. Then throw them in the tank a week or two later. So it was too early to tell. It takes weeks for something like ick to become a severe problem where it's noticed. And ick is everywhere in the world now. It is not from North America, but it is here. It's in the environment. It comes from pet stores often. When my dad used to manage pet stores, that's what he did when he was younger, before he became a veterinarian. He used to isolate everything that came into the store before it was sold to the public. And in a pet store, they have what's called a central system. Every tank has a suction line that's taking and a line that's feeding. Every tank has the same massive central filter. So if one tank has something like that, everyone's got it. That's why you put them in a separate system before you introduce it to a massive pet store. But apparently the kids running the pet stores these days, or the managers who own them, don't want to pay someone who actually knows what they're doing. So ick is actually very, very common to bring home because of incompetence. But because I have snails, because I have crayfish in here, which are invertebraes, most ick medication will kill them. Most ick medication uses copper, some sort of heavy metals, and it'll kill them. You can isolate snails and crayfish for a couple of weeks. The ick parasite won't survive in that tank without fish. It cannot survive on the snails or the crayfish. You can isolate them and then use the hard medications on everyone for a couple of weeks. Then when you do a few water changes, you can put those creatures back. You can do that. I went ahead and ordered this, which is safe for snails and crayfish. They don't sell this in the local pet store that sold me the ick. For some reason, they sold me the ick. They sold me a few of the goldfish. That's probably how I introduced. I know it came from the pet store that has the little feeders because it first got really bad on the feeders. The healthier fish, like these bigger goldfish, never showed a sign at all. The wild caught suckers had a good amount of it. And why am I saying had? I haven't treated them yet. I kind of did, actually. So what you do is you turn the heating systems up. Now, ick can't survive in the upper 80s or 90 degree water. Unfortunately, a lot of fish also can't survive that. So do not try to bake the ick out of your tank. But I did raise the temperature. Usually the temperature in here is like around 70. I raised it up to the upper 70s, the temperature, which makes the ick cycle go faster. Its life cycle will go faster when it's spread up like that. Also, salt water typically, so there is no concentration of salt in the environment like the ocean. Every ocean's a little bit different as far as saltiness, but typically you'd say 5 teaspoons per gallon in salt water in the ocean. Now this, we made it slightly brackish. We put 1 teaspoon of salt per 2 gallons in there, and that makes it a bit salty. It irritates the ick. And it detached from a lot of the fish. It's in the salty water now. It doesn't like that. The ick is starting to go away just from doing that. Increasing the temperature makes its life cycle go more, and we made it a bit salty in there. Now, there are other herbal remedies that may or may not work. I have an old video from 8 years ago if you want to look it up. It's called Treating Ick with Garlic. You can feed your fish minced garlic. And just like when you eat garlic, you're going to sweat and you're going to stink. It's going to make the fish secrete that garlickiness through their slime coat. And it can make it detach, but it's not a reliable 100% way to get rid of it. If you don't get rid of it 100%, it's going to bounce back eventually. So, our Placo doesn't seem any signs of it. These guys had it, but completely cleared up. Some of the small goldfish still have scarring, but I think it's gone. I think it's gone just from the salt treatment. Now, most ick things have copper in them, and it tells you to add a little bit, do partial water changes all the time. This thing's instructions do not mention partial water changes at all. I'm going to roll it back and forth a couple times so people can read it if they want to. So you just put a teaspoon per 10 gallons. That upper tank is a 55-gallon tank, halfway filled because it's a terrarium. It's meant to have plants and frogs on the upper half. So we're going to treat it as if it is a 25-gallon tank, or this has safety factors 100%. We're just going to treat it as 30 gallons. We're going to put 3 teaspoons in there. And according to this, you don't do water changes. It just says you keep adding it in there. So I will do a partial water change, I guess, after a week. But yeah, this seems like the way to go. We're going to see how this treatment works. I've done a bunch of different ick things. There's one that works really good. It turns the water purple. People don't like it because it'll stain your silicone purple indefinitely. At least that's what the critics say. I've used it, and I kind of like the blue silicone. Kind of like it, actually. It looks kind of cool. We're also going to treat these guys down here, just because I don't want cross-contamination from nets bringing it back upstairs. These guys are in here. They're the crayfish's food. I made a little video last night. There was a chewed-up fish on the bottom, like half of it. He obviously went back and ate it because it's not in there. And the crayfish killed this fish because I can see part of it is cut. But he'll be able to get that guy eventually. I'm actually going to grab that fish and weight it down in the rocks so he can go over and grab it nicely and finish him off. Yeah, there was originally 10 of these wild caught guys. So I just don't want to cross-contaminate. That's why we're going to treat this tank too. But those are wild caught fish, and I'll keep wild catching these minnows and stuff. Because when I'm not home, if this guy ever gets hungry, he can come out to his pantry and eat a fish. You might say that's cruel, but that is nature, and he likes live caught food. So, let's treat this tank. So this is what it looks like. It's this brown stuff. It's kind of stinky. That's the third teaspoon I just put in there. It did say teaspoon, right? Didn't say tablespoon? Yes, teaspoon. Okay, this tank's treated. We'll do it again tomorrow. I'll do it every day I'm home for the next week. And just for the heck of it, I think I should order another one of these just in case. But even if you don't see the ick, you need to treat them for a full week, because that's how you get parasites and things resistant to other things. Just like these days we have so many antibiotic resistant bacterias because people, think it's gone, but it is truly not gone. We're gonna treat this one now, and I'll weight down that fish. Okay, both tanks are treated, but by exposing a bacteria to something that's meant to kill it, you're making it stronger if you don't kill it. Okay, rinse that off because I spilled a little bit. This stuff is actually pretty stinky, but it doesn't smell chemically at all. This is supposed to be more natural. So, okay, we'll see how everything goes. Okay, just added that in. I've been feeding them when I'm home every other day. Keeps the water from getting polluted. We just recently did a ammonia test. It is just, yeah, it's perfect. No more ammonia, the cycle's going nicely. But when I was away for 9 days, now goldfish, any fish in the wild, sometimes has to go a long time without eating. Now, up here, they're like, okay, we're not gonna go without eating, we don't have to. They ate all my dwarf lily pads. The only ones that survived are the ones that got caught up there. They ate them all. So, that's the end of that. We had a couple different types. It wasn't duckweed. Someone thought it was duckweed. It's not. Duckweed doesn't have a root. We also had ones the size of dimes in there. They ate them all. Also, you notice there's nothing growing in here. But look right there where the sucker fish cannot get to. There's algae. That's why we have a UV light. It creates algae because we have 3 white sucker fish. There they are. and the Placo. At some point, I do want to get him a friend. Honestly, I should probably buy him a friend while we're doing this ick treatment, right? Probably should. I probably should go buy him one in the next couple days while we're treating anyways. And I was going to say down here, we should maybe get a suckerfish because the glass has algae on it. There's algae all over that rock. It's going to start getting kind of nasty in there. What do you think? Should I get a suckerfish in here? Do you think if I get one that's sort of big, this crayfish will leave it alone? That's what I'm thinking. I should probably get a bigger sucker down here. Or get this guy a friend and occasionally catch them, put them down here, supervise for a couple of hours while they clean, then put them back up here. People used to love those videos. That's exactly what I used to do. I would grow green tanks with just nothing living in them, and I used to time-lapse them cleaning it. They would clean it so fast. Those videos did well. Look that up. Post 10 suckerfish time-lapse. Those were very cool videos. Oh, there's a piece of a chewed-up fish. So that's proof the crayfish has been eating as intended and fishing. So these type of fish are not nocturnal. They're in there sleeping and floating around at night, and he can just grab them. That's probably when it happens. I thought he was going to play with the ball. We used to have a crayfish that was like the size of a lobster. It lived a long time. They're only supposed to live 3 years, but this thing lived to be like 10. Huge thing. It used to push around the ball, whether it was playing or not, I don't know. Or just entertaining itself. Up here, we did have a few of the small goldfish die because feeder goldfish, they're usually in a tank about this size, of 55. The pet store will have hundreds or even 1,000 of them in one tank. Whenever you order, they just swoop, give them to you in a bag to feed to another animal. Now, depending on the animal, you probably shouldn't even be buying goldfish. You should buy toughies or minnows, something like that. Goldfish do have carcinogens in their bodies. You don't want to be giving that to like pet turtles or snakes. It will build up in their body. Look it up. But anyways, because there's so many in a tank, they don't really feed them much because it would overwhelm the tank with waste. Goldfish produce a lot of waste. They're pigs. And it would become toxic. So when you buy feeder fish to keep as pets, they're oftentimes skinny and malnourished. They're meant to be food. So a couple of them will usually die. These were skinny and decrepit looking when I got them. Now they're starting to bulk up and get big. The ones that did survive are going to be strong. So I'll keep updates on this tank, and thanks for watching, everyone. Today in the mail, we got more media for our rock tumblers. We're supposed to have a bigger one showing up at some point. That's why I got lots of this. This is ceramic pellets you put in there to fill the dead space so the rocks don't smash against each other when they're trying to get polished. It's like a cushion. And I'll buy another set of these because we're going to end up just using these for different grits. You don't want to go in between because if you get a little bit of your rough grit in the polishing grit, it'll scratch all your rocks. I also got this today. We'll put them on the car in the spring. They're new J-hooks for carrying kayaks and canoes. I have J-hooks on my car already, but they're 6 years old, and after 6 years of road salt, the rust is getting concerning. I don't want them to snap on the highway. I recently went on a 50-plus hour ride with kayaks on the roof up to northern Ontario to film a camping video, and it held. I would go at places locally, not on the highway, with the J-hooks, because the J-hooks, you're supposed to connect your ratchet straps or whatever strap you're using right to the J-hooks. I don't fully trust the J-hooks with the severe amount of rust on them anymore, so I do connect them as intended, but I also put ratchet straps around the actual factory car rack, too, because I want to be double safe. I don't want to lose a kayak on the highway, and I also don't want to get sued by the driver behind me if it goes through their windshield. But yeah, they're so rusted on there that I'm gonna have to cut them off with an angle grinder. You're never gonna get those bolts off. 6 years of road salt. But they're also, the padding on the J-hooks is kind of degraded too. But it's time to go. They don't cost too much. This is a set of 2, so there's 4 of them, and it's only $38 on Amazon. They're cheaper than I remember. But the last time I ordered them, I was also a kid that didn't have enough money, so 30-something bucks was probably it was so much money as a teenager the last time I put those things up there.